Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. Welcome to the show. I'm just waiting for Fernie, and I haven't heard that he's not coming, so I'm just going to assume that he's running a little late. So rather than just give me a second. I just got an email back. Nope, wasn't from him. So until Fernie gets here, it will just be me. You'll have me. And, that's not always such a bad thing, right? So, alrighty. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're enjoying your day and whatnot so far. I'm looking outside, and yesterday was really nice and sunny, and it was kind of, really nice weather and whatnot. Well, we're supposed to get snow later on this evening, and it is supposed to snow until Friday. And for those of you that are not up here in Canada, we should be getting anywhere between 6 and 8 inches of snow here in Calgary. So, yeah. And I can just feel the cold air and everything coming in. And yeah. So anyway, let me check. Fernie, I think he just said backstage. Hey, I just entered. Okay, I don't see him. So bear with me, folks, while I send him out an invite. Copy. Okay. Alrighty, I will just say hello to some of you that are here while we're waiting. Jennifer GR, we've got Star Midnight. I've got your question, Star Midnight. Jennifer, if you're still here and I'd like to start your question, I just need you to be a little more specific. Otherwise, you might get a message that you may not be happy with. So there. Okay. And we've got Ron DeForest. Hey, Ron. Trancing with Spirit. Hi, Sherry. And then we have Sherry, Teresa Hedarian. Lisa Keller. Hi. Amanda Carroll. Hey, Amanda Carroll. And yeah, I think Fernie had the wrong link. So you know what? If he didn't have the right link, it's because I sent him the wrong one. Hey, Fernie.
Hey, I think you sent me a different link. So I think that's what happened.
Totally my fault.
No worries. Here, let me stream this to my audience real quick.
Yes, please. You do that. And I noticed you said I'm going to have you till 6 o'clock. Is that okay?
Yeah. So 6 is fine. And once I hit 6, I'll have to jump off.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. That totally get that. So I was just excellent. Yay. So I was just going to tell these wonderful folks, if they have not had a chance. Whoa. Oh, I see. The computer is going to be playing that game. All righty. Yeah. For those of you who have, if you have never had a reading from Fernie, he is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
There we go. It kicked me out for a second. I was like, there we go.
Not to worry. You know what? If these things happen, we just live with it, right? We just carry on. We don't panic. We do whatever. So
yeah, you look beautiful, by the way. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. You have just moved to the top of my best friends list. Oh, there we go. Okay, hold on. And yeah, Imelda, I got your first question. That's a specific question. And I was saying, yeah, if you want to ask a question, we'll be more than glad to answer it for you. Please be specific. Otherwise, you're going to get whatever first thing that I know with me, whatever first thing Spirit tells me, and you may or may not like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I always
just
tell people sometimes, like in the lives that I do, people always, I know people come to these sessions and are like, great spiritual beings of the sky, just tell me what I need to know. And it's the same story as like, the universe is like, I'm here to help. And the person's like, oh, please help me, please help me. Universe is like, okay, but what do you need help with? Or what do you want? The universe is trying to accommodate us and help us to be the best versions of ourselves, not only just in the idea of evolving through experiences, but also just knowing who we are. And we're here to experience ourselves as source and form. So whenever I do readings for people, I always say, well, what do you want to know? And they're like, well, just tell me anything. And I'm like, okay, well, you should stop leaving the oven light on. And they're like, well, that's not what I wanted to know about. Well, what did you want to know about? And that's
yeah,
the thing. Yeah, like you do have a sense of entitlement of asking specific questions of the universe, and you'd be surprised the universe will actually accommodate you. It will help you and give you the
absolutely.
answers that you seek.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just like, you know
Mm,
what? You don't go up to the McDonald's counter and
yeah.
say, I'm hungry. And they go, oh, we knew exactly what you wanted. We were
Yeah.
anticipating you coming
Yes.
in.
Yeah.
Here's your burger and large fries.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's I credit me being specific with the universe with the awakening, my very first psychic awakening, because I had watched a show on TV and it really piqued my interest. And I thought to myself, like, I wonder what we are capable of as humans. I wonder what we could do as humans. Do we have those abilities? And I was just asking the universe, God, I was just open to asking that specific question. And within the week, I got my answer through an experience that just blew my mind. And since then,
Yes.
I've never stopped asking specific questions of the universe. When I go on my walks, I'm like, well, why does this happen? Or why is this? And I ask it. And the more I want to know, the more intense or grand the experience is that
Yes.
really teaches me and helps me to validate and understand what it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
exactly. Totally. And I do understand sometimes, people they will be very general thinking that, out of the very general, we can come in with the specific.
yeah.
And that's that's not the case. That's
Yeah.
not the case. So yeah. Anyway, that be be specific in what you want and ask the question you want. Don't ask a question that you think is going to lead to something else,
Yeah.
because yeah, that doesn't work. Alrighty. So I do have some questions that are starred already. If you would like us to read on something, again, number one, be specific. Number two, you must be in the room when we call on you. Otherwise, it's a waste of energy trying to connect
Mm,
to something that's not there.
yeah.
So, um, you know, it's kind of it's a respect thing, put it that
Yeah.
way. So, yeah, be specific. Put it in all caps. That way it gets my attention because I'm too vain to wear my glasses, and sometimes things slip by.
Oh my goodness. Well, some of these glasses are super. Like, I just got these lenses right here. They're like so cute. Actually, I think they match my outfit. They
Oh my
actually
God,
do. Yeah, they have like this little blue tint on them. Like, I
I
love
love
them.
it.
Yeah, the only reason I don't is just because of the glare from the
The
TV,
glare.
and I want people to see my eyes. Yeah. So, but I
Yes,
love it. Yeah.
perfect. Perfect. All righty. Uh, okay. Now I will. Well, let's get into this, and then I'll give you guys a little more information. So, Star Midnight would like to know: will I be able to find a place to move to once I sell my house?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a yes. However, I don't feel like it's going to be a right away process. I feel like it's going to take about 2.5 months before you are in process of getting of finding a place. So I feel like it's going to take about 2.5 months to find a place after you sell your house. So I do think it's not going to be an immediate situation, you might have to work around that and either stay. I do see you staying somewhere temporarily, so whether that's
Yeah.
a B&B or a family, but then after that, I see you getting into a place in about 2.5 months after that. And you'll be there for a year, and then you'll move again at the end of that year.
Yeah. The place that you're meant to be at isn't quite ready for you. So there's going to be places in between until ultimately where you are supposed to be is ready for you. Right now, it's not quite ready for you. Okay. And let me take this opportunity because I just see two of you just kind of asked, something similar. Okay. Wanted to, like, can I read on so-and-so's son, or can I read on what? I can't ethically read on somebody else's energy without their permission. That to me is the same as going into your house and you're not there, and I'm looking around and I'm peeking in drawers and checking out your medicine cabinet. It's not a nice thing to do. So if you would like me to tell you what your energy is like in this situation, okay. But I can't read on, will my son get a job? Will this, will that? It's not their reading. You're the one that's asking. So just keep that in mind. And Star Midnight, I hope that's helpful to you. Okay.
Yeah. And I am open to certain types of questions because it's a sketchy area. Like if someone's going through a health issue with their child and they want to know what may be coming up, I'm very open to answering those questions. If it's an adult that you're trying to get a read on, I can share the connection between the two people and maybe like what I see coming up for the interaction between the two. But if it's like a separate adult, then it makes it a little sketchy, and it is it's like, well, I don't have the permission. But like if it's a child or it's something like that where they're underage and you really are trying to get them help, or then I understand that completely.
Yeah. I get it. Okay. And Imelda says, any messages from family members or pets?
Yeah, Imelda, who do you specifically want to hear from? Don't give me their name, just the connection. Like I want to connect to my mom, or I want to connect to my dad. That way I know who to focus or fixate on, because that just opens it up to too many people. And then all of a sudden I'm going to have various people pop in, and I may share something with you that might pertain to a person you had not even considered hearing from. So I kind of want to focus on the person you want to hear from, but I just need to know the connection, not the name. If I get a name, it'll be from them. But just the connection, like, oh, my mother or my brother or whatnot. Aunt. Okay. Got it. All right. Aunt. So she wants to hear from her aunt. Yeah. So there's a few things without bringing you on, because that would turn into we would need to have a conversation to go into depth. But here's what I'm getting from the aunt. It's just enough. There's 3 females though, and I'm assuming one is the aunt. But what she's showing me is immediately, thank you. So ladybugs are a sign from her. So she's going to use ladybugs as a sign to let you know that she's around you. I keep hearing bells or chimes, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are either bells that sometimes will go off when she's around, or if you have chimes that you associate with her or connect with her, because I'm hearing these bell sounds. So I'm assuming that that's what she's referencing. She keeps showing me these like white, I don't think they're roses. I almost want to say they're either lilies or tulips, but they kind of seem in a bundle. I wonder if there's a picture of her with this, or if someone recently just got married and put something, wrapped it around the flowers when they were walking down the aisle, because she's like showing me something wrapped around these flowers, but they look like white lilies or tulips. So there's something, that gave her ladybug ring. Yeah. And so she showed me these flowers. So she showed me some reference to that. So just FYI with these white flowers is, I wonder if the white flowers, she also keeps, she says you heard her. So if you thought you heard a woman calling your name, or if you heard someone speaking and it's a feminine voice, that would have been her trying to get your attention. So she says that she was trying to let you know that she was around you. She also says, thank you. There might be a female in the family right now that might have a cancer scare or go through a treatment period. Your aunt is acknowledging that she's aware of the situation and they're with her, trying to support them through that process, of that journey. So just FYI, they're aware of something like that. If you're not aware of it yet, just FYI, this might be coming up in the next few months. But she's showing me, she's acknowledging another female. So they're like aware of the situation. Also, the month of September, or the 9th of a month, any month is significant, whether it be a birthday, death date, or anniversary date connected to her or to you. Because show me September 11th, but I'm thinking it's September the month itself being significant or the ninth
Yes.
of a month being significant.
Yeah. And what I got initially from her was that, yeah, she wanted to let you know that where she is right now, she has a really, really good singing voice. Whether or not that was something that she enjoyed singing in when she was here, and people kept saying, no, no, don't don't do that. But she just wanted to acknowledge that, yeah, where she is right now, she has a really good singing voice. So maybe that is something, that you might have teased her on, or so on. Um, the the other thing that and it's funny because I picked up on the white flowers, and I thought they were tuberose, like small little, yeah, and very, very fragrant. And I think that whenever you think of her, you kind of get a sense of that smell, and it could have been something that maybe it was one of the components of a perfume that she wore, but it is like white flowers, white tuberose, um, lily of the valley. That
Really,
so
let's do that to I Love Lucy.
what
That was a joke in the I Love Lucy show, the Lily of the Valley. Lily, Lily
really?
of the Valley. Yeah, it was like a whole skit that they did.
Ah, perfect. Okay, excellent. All right, so I hope, Imelda, that you found that beneficial. Okay, and we're going to go to just a minute. Ness came in, and Ness is a member, so she gets to jump the queue. Would love a message from her grandmother. And she says her grandmother's name was Joginder, and she passed in 2013.
Yeah, and guys, you don't have to give the name unless you're validating something we've already gotten, because by
Yeah.
giving away names, you're pretty much giving us too much information. Oftentimes, when people want readings with mediums, they will say, "Oh, I would like to connect to my mom. Her name is Marie. She was born in the 4th of July, but she passed in December. She did have a heart valve replacement. She also really loved red roses. And every time I see birds, I think of her. But do you have a message from my mom?" I'm like, "Well, you just did the whole reading." So I always tell people, like, don't give away any information and let the medium come up with it if they do. That way that we can validate those messages for you, because it takes away the opportunity for us to be able to validate if we do get a name. And
Mhm.
usually it's the for me it's the sounding of a name. So like if someone's trying to give me the name of Jared, I may get Jerry or
Yes.
Jeremy. Like it's going to have a similar sound to it. But as far as let's see, what to say? Would love a message from my grandmother. Um, Interesting. She's writing stuff down for me. I don't know if you have a journal, and after her passing, you wrote down in a journal or wrote to her, or if there's actually letters that you still have connected to
Mhm.
her that she's making reference to. In a way, I almost feel like sometimes whenever there's a keepsake box or a box where sometimes people will collect things, and over time it starts to fill with a bunch of like different articles and things that they collect over time. This is what she's showing me. So she's almost showing me something that looks like either an old suitcase or a wooden
Yeah.
or a box that has that vibe to it. I wrote letters to her. So she's got it. So she is acknowledging the letters. She's showing me, like I said, this chest or this like suitcase looking thing that might have other things that were collected. As we had a language gap, and I wrote letters and paid to have someone try. Wow, interesting. Okay. Now I understand why she showed me the suitcase. Okay. Because when I was seeing the suitcase, I'm like, I feel like the suitcase reminds me, like, if I were going to go overseas, or if I were like, sometimes when
Yeah.
people were traveling and they were like
Yes.
immigrants from other countries coming over, and they didn't have all of the, that makes perfect sense to me now. I'm getting the vibe there. Okay, I understand that. Thank you for that. She also keeps showing me there's a special, I don't know if it's a special type of like jam or an ointment made with berries that she's like trying to like show me. So I don't know if there's a special thing like that that she would recommend for certain ailments, or if you actually have if you remember her mentioning something that she believed like a salve or something that would help with joints. So I don't know if you're currently having some joint or arthritic pain, but she's talking about this like almost like a juniper berry or berry to that berries I love. well, it's like a type of berry ointment or salve that she would recommend. So she's showing me something like that. I almost want to say it's something that might have come out of either Germany or Poland, because I feel like it's coming out of
Yeah.
that area. So she's talking about a salve that would help with some sort of arthritic or joint pain or something that helps with aches in this way. That may have been something used in the past and then is no longer something that is as popular. But there's something like that that she says she might have mentioned in one of the letters, or might have mentioned in something that would help either you or mother, or et cetera, et cetera. So just look into those letters again if you still have any of them, just because she's making reference to that. Also, she is showing me, I feel like there's this image of her. It almost looks like a black and white picture, but it has a faded kind of beigey look to it. And I want to say that the hair is a little bit tucked in, a little bit shorter up, and it's kind of like looking at an angle. So she showed me this really beautiful picture of herself. So just FYI with that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And what she was telling me was to let you know that, yeah, you get some of your flair from her, because she enjoyed being a female. She enjoyed dressing up and making sure that she was the best version of herself that she could be. So I she was very fond of color, lots and lots of bright color. I see like yellows and turquoise and any kind of bright color. It was a famous. Okay, just a minute.
Yeah. You know what's
Yeah,
funny? She had showed me watercolors, and I thought, no, I don't think this is like watercolors. And then she showed me the picture of her, like a portrait, and I was like, okay, maybe this is just a picture, which is what I decided to go with. So
yeah,
thank you for validating that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marina, baby.
yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. I don't mind
Yeah.
that at all. Yeah, she very much enjoyed her position. She enjoyed the status that she had, but she wasn't overly. She was saying, yeah, don't forget that even no matter how high you are, you have to remember the people that are down at the bottom. And she never held her position kind of in front of someone, like you have to do what I tell you because I'm so and so. She never did that. She was always very down to earth and just very loving and caring. I think she was also spiritually connected in that. And okay, that I see her doing one of these, like, she's definitely making a point of getting your attention, and don't she knows what you're up to. She absolutely knows what it is that you're doing, and she's there to support you in what it is that you're doing right now. And yeah, she's quite fond of you,
Yeah.
quite fond of you. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, she's also showing
absolutely.
me. She said that she was showing me like one of those vessels or cups where sometimes like when there's a dog show or there's a polo club, and then she was showing me
Yes.
something that looked like silver in a way. So wonder if they donated money, or there was if she ever was contributing to an organization or a fund like that for events. So it's really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, Ness, I hope that helps you. And I noticed some of you had asked about Fernie. Does he have a website or channel? Absolutely, he does. If you go down in the description of the video, I have the link there to his YouTube channel. You can go on there, and then you can go over to um, his website, which is
Fernando.
fernandomarron.com.
Com. Yeah.
And you guys, yeah, when he gives you a message and when he tells you, something is going on, you absolutely pay attention to that, because yeah, he gave me the name and the dates and the occupation and the location of who I was in a past life. So I'm I'm just saying. I'm just saying that
Thank you.
my man
Thank you,
is a
baby.
wonder. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely go over and check him out. And yeah, all right. I hope that I hope I haven't missed anyone. If I have, I apologize, but I'm going to try to get to everyone. Okay, Mary Thornberry. Does my good friend Gareth have a message for me past this past summer from a motorcycle accident?
She gave us all the information already. Mary, you gave us all the information. You took that away from us. Okay. So here's what I would say with Gareth. He is acknowledging people holding an event in his honor separate from his memorial. So even though there might have been the initial memorial, he's shown me a separate event altogether. So I don't know if people got together in like a group
Yep.
motor club, or there was an event where people had it at like a venue, because he's showing me something like that. He's also showing music. So I don't know if someone played music for him, or like a guitar, or there was like a special dedication to him, because he's showing me a reference to that. Also, I almost feel like people either donated money or contributed to a fund of some sort, because he's making reference to that as well. He's also shown me 11, so the 11th of a month may be significant, or the month of November may be significant, whether it be a birth date, death date, anniversary date. So again, the month of November or the 11th of a month. But he's, interestingly enough, he's not the only person there that passed from a vehicular incident that's connected to you, but he is acknowledging himself with that other person. But that person, I want to say they were in a different type of vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's what he is telling me is to let you know that he realized he should have paid attention when people told him, kind of, just because you're on a motorcycle doesn't mean that you get to do certain things on the road. He always thought that he could handle himself, and he could handle his machine, and he had a lot of faith in himself. And it almost feels like this accident wasn't a case of him running into somebody, it was somebody running into him. So while he's acknowledging that, yes, he should have maybe been a little more aware, and he should have, it's almost like he's saying, to all the people who said be careful, okay, I get it now, right? But it feels like it was another vehicle or something that hit him. He went fast, like boom, he was out of his body, excuse me. And he kind of makes me feel like it was he was a little shocked in terms of looking down on himself and going, Jesus, that guy looks like me. And then the realization hit that, okay. But and I think that for the celebrations of life that you had for him, he was definitely there. And if there was someone there who had a drink spilt on them, that wasn't by accident. That was him letting everyone know that he was still there. And this wasn't the drink that was spilled on a person who would understand his sense of humor, and who probably thought, guess what? Look what he did. So that is, Mary, that's what I get for you. I hope that is going to be helpful. Okay. And Svetlana says, hello, Fernie and Marina. Will I stay at this job for a long time? Will I get a raise?
Metal yellow first, red. I think that's probably an emoji or something that didn't translate.
I think so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I am not seeing you getting a raise in the near future. I am seeing you staying at the job. I kind of feel like it's maybe, I'm seeing you leaving in January or February. I want to say it's January, February 2025, which would only be a little less than a year from now. But it could also be 2026, January, February, because I keep seeing it at the beginning of the year. So I'm assuming it's 2025 and not 2026. If I'm off my misinterpretation and nothing happens, then it would be 2026. But raise, I think that you keep bucking for one at the end of the year, and they just are not, they're not doing it. And you start to get frustrated. And that may be what triggers you to just start to look for other options.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was, that I was kind of thinking, maybe a year and a half down the road, but yeah, absolutely. There, you're going to find that your workload is going to increase, over the next number of months. You're going to be asked to do more. That is what is going to kind of spur you on to say, listen, I need a little more compensation for all the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think the sooner you realize that it might be time to start looking around, the better off that you might be. Because ultimately, yeah, I do see you getting very frustrated and saying, look, I'm doing the job of 3 people here. I've taken on all these duties, and I'm not getting compensated. And I don't want you to kind of walk out with that F you and the horse you rode in on attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
So start preparing, get your resume ready, and start putting your resume out so that that when you leave, it's your decision. Because I think you also, as you're asking for the raise, I also get the feeling that the response that you get is a very unpleasant one in terms of, well, if you don't like it, you could take a hike.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you're ready to say, oh, all right, hike it is. See ya. And off you go. Yeah, get your ducks in a row now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like she's gonna end up leaving that job and then going back to work for someone she's already worked for, or someone she's already had a work relationship with before. So
Yeah,
after this one,
there you go. Yeah. Svetlana, I hope that is helpful to you. Okay. And, all right. Hilda says, Fernando, can you tell me why my dad was being chased by what he said looked like a black wolf with red eyes when he was about 10 years old? He ran home and said he yelled to open the door and heard a loud bang after.
Mm.
Mm.
So I feel like when your father was that age, he was suffering from a lot of emotional and psychological challenges, especially with dealing with other people, whether people were bullying him or being abusive or just mistreating him. And I think that he was going through a lot of emotional stuff at the
Mm.
time. And sometimes when we are sensitive people and when we don't always process our trauma well, that energy can expand outside of our vessel, which is our physical body, and expand into the ether, which is the surrounding elements or areas, and it can become manifested in form. And we see this a lot. Like there's an old movie called there's an old film called An American Haunting, where the young girl, her father molested her in the movie, and they didn't show that part in the beginning of the movie, but she just started having this weird haunting that almost was like a poltergeist or some sort of a possession,
Yeah.
and they could not figure out what was happening with her. And it looked like she was being punished and being tortured and being abused sexually during these like episodes. And finally, towards the end, it came to light where it wasn't that this was a demonic presence. This was actually her own guilt and sense of being a bad person because her father did this to her. And so I feel like she was in that movie, she was being tortured by herself, by her own conscience, and feeling horrific about the situation. So I feel like your father has this tendency where basically the story of the big bad wolf is an old child's tale. And when you're lying or being deceitful, or if you're just going through something difficult or challenging and you're processing it well, this might show up as a psychological representation in a manifested form, which I believe is what's happening with your father. He says, oh wow, because when he was dying, he kept saying he was seeing that dog again. Yeah, that was his fear. He was afraid. So see, that sounds to me like he was struggling when he was dying and he was worried or he was afraid. And there might have been some things that he was afraid. When we were going through that part and that
Yeah.
transition, we sometimes look back on our lives like, maybe I could have done this better, maybe I could have done that better. And he might have carried a lot of guilt or anguish or some things that he just never found peace around. And so that was a part of his psychology showing up in a manifested form. Your father is okay. So your father is okay. He's okay. He's not in tortured mode or anything like that. This was just a
Yeah.
part of his psyche. This is what I believe with people when you have people who they say, I had a near death experience and I had this experience of going to hell. I'm like, well, what's really funny is all of the spirits that I've talked to, not one spirit has told me, hey, guess what? I'm in hell. No, not
No.
one spirit has mentioned it. So everybody goes to the same side. There is the other side. Now, granted, there are levels of awareness, levels of consciousness, levels of connection with the divine, with source, there are levels he never forgave us. See, yeah, there we go. So he was whipped for letting a stallion go and his uncle hurt him. See, there we go. So he had a lot of that trauma that had not been resolved properly. And so I always tell people, like, it doesn't matter what you believe, what you wish a person's going through after they die, etc. It doesn't matter what you believe, because I've talked to enough spirits to know that there really isn't a hell. There is a state called hell that we in human form experience all the time. Some of us put ourselves through hell here in the physical
Yes.
world. And sometimes when you are still processing and dealing with that and have trouble releasing that, you will experience a version of that in the process of transition. And some people have, and that's what they come back and say, oh, I went to hell. And you went through the state
Yeah.
of hell because of your own issues. And so once you move through that, you will come out of it. But it's a process that some people go through because they don't forgive themselves and they put themselves through hell.
Yes, absolutely. And spirit will always communicate with you in ways that you can understand. So if this was a case, and clearly, if he was whipped for letting a stallion go, it totally makes sense to me that if that was a memory that he had, as soon as he would get into that memory, he would want to run away. Who wants to be beaten up or whipped? And B, that the person doing that to him would turn into something evil, because how else can you rationalize that this is a family member, this is someone who is supposed to love you, being mean to you? So how do you do that? You make them into a demon. And what was he doing? He was running away from the demon, because that's the way that spirit is able to kind of acknowledge what he was doing, but also in a way that he could relate to that. So that's why he saw the dog being chased with the red eyes. What happens when you're angry and when you're whipping someone? You get out of control, and you see red. So yeah, it totally makes sense. But he's okay where he is right now. He never did forgive his uncle down here on the earthly plane, but they're okay on the other side. So just know that there isn't any of that has gone on the other side. So yeah, that's what it was. And Hilda, I hope that helps. And just a second, where did I have? Okay, hide card. Now, Kika is any messages from my dad, Saul?
Interesting. First of all, he's showing me these coins or medals. I don't know if you have a collection of medals or coins that belong to him, because he's showing me these. The reason why I'm bringing up the idea of medals is because he triggered a memory for me, which is once I got this weird coin in the mail that was kind of like it was a triangle with the eye on top, and it was one of those Freemason triangles. So I got that in the mail once, like by accident, with all the angels' names on them, and then also like prayers and stuff. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And so he's showing me something like that. So there might be a reference to either these coins or this collection, but he's making reference to that. He also shows me the 20th as well. I want to say the 20th or the 21st of a month may be significant, whether it be a birthday, death date, or anniversary date. So the 20th or the 21st of a month. If I'm misinterpreting, it could be February 1st, but I'm thinking there's a date there that he's making reference to. He's also showing me, thank you, showing me a picture of himself. In a way, it's almost like I'm seeing airplanes. I don't know if he had flown in a plane, if he was in the military, or there was some sort of picture of him where he's near the airport or near the airplanes, but he's showing me something like that. So there's an image of him that he's making reference to. Thank you. He also says he loves you. I don't know if he wasn't as expressive with his emotions, but you just kind of knew what dad wanted or what dad felt. But he just says he wants you to know that he loves you. He wants to make sure you hear him say that. And for me, that's why it makes me think that he's trying to make a point of it, which makes me wonder if he was as expressive with his feelings, but he's just saying thank you and I love you.
Yeah, absolutely. What I got from him was, for you're stronger than you believe. You're stronger than you
Mm.
think. And so he wants to remind you not to be so reliant on other people, that you can do this for yourself. You just it's um I don't know why he's calling you Floor, but he's calling you Floor. Um and yeah, saying you can do this. You can do this. You don't need anyone else to help you with this. So hopefully that makes sense to you. My job is just to deliver the message, not to try to interpret it. So yeah, but he also wanted to let you know too that he realizes that there was a lot of things while he was here that necessarily um, he didn't necessarily approach the right way. And he's just letting you know that he realizes that, he knows that, and if there was ever a time that you felt like you needed him and he wasn't there, that it was not intentional. He didn't do it because he didn't care about you. He just didn't know what to do. So Kika, I hope that that resonates with you. Okay. And Leia, thank you for the super sticker, Leia. And she wanted to know, my Aunt Thelma passed less than a year ago. Does she have a message?
Um, Immediately she wants to show me her body and having control of her body. So I don't know if that means that she was having difficulty with her nervous system, or if there were some tremors that she just couldn't control. Because it's almost like I don't have full control of my body. So she's like wanting to make sure that I can see her doing this. In a way, she is showing me a ring. So there might be a colored stone ring that might be tied to her. Whether I want to say it's either a ruby or like an emerald, because it almost feels like it's a red or green. I keep thinking of like the Emerald City, and then I keep thinking of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, which for me is a ruby red slipper. So there's one
Yeah,
thing there
yeah.
she's trying to make reference to. She also keeps acknowledging, thank you. Birds and feathers are a sign from her. So cardinals, feathers are going to be a sign from her that let you know that she's around you. She's also, interestingly enough, she says thank you. There's two dogs and three cats that are with her in spirit as well. So there are animals with her that she's trying to make reference to. She's also sugar. It's funny because I keep wanting to say brown sugar or sugar. So I wonder if there's a animal that had a name that was named after like sugar or sweet. So there's a reference there. So just FYI with that.
Okay. And what I got is, she said, make sure that you uh, someone should already have gone through all her things, but if you have an opportunity to get your hands on any of her sweaters, she's she's very fond of her sweaters, and there is one in particular that has a little bit. It's a very soft pink and white that she really liked, and she hopes that you got that sweater. So um, she's also saying to oh, okay. She's saying, yeah, be kinder to your mom. I don't know if your mom is still here or if she's on the other side, but in terms of, if she's on the other side in terms of memory, just cut her a little slack. Excuse me, she did the best that she could with what she had. So she's, yeah, sticking up for her sister. So anyway, I hope that that resonated with you. Thank you, Leia. And okay. And Michelle Krantz, do you see a career change for me this year? If so, different field. Um, okay, Leia. Yeah. Her mom is turning 90 in April. Okay.
Um, I don't think there's going to be a career change for you for about 2.5 years. So this might be a while. But I think it's going to happen. I do think it is a career change, though. So I think you're going into a different industry. I'm going to keep
Mhm.
seeing you get some certifications, or a certification that would give you. I want to. I want to put this in 2020, the end of 2025, going into 2026. So I want to say 2025 into 2026. It's like you're getting this credential, or completing this credential, and then in about 2.5 years, just you shift over to a different type of career path altogether. It's really interesting because I'm reminded of whenever I see, like, I don't want to say a case manager. It's almost like when I think of like um, uh, an administrative human resources coordination vibe, where it's almost like coordinating between cases, or different.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, either cases or individuals, and having to coordinate between their stuff administratively. So I want to say it's almost like a human resources thing, but I keep seeing an organization that's tied to this, almost like a community-based organization, or one that brings attention to an underserved population or community.
It's funny you say that because, yeah, the first thing that came to me is, yeah, you're going to be taking some courses. So, yeah, absolutely. You're not going to be changing jobs, but you will be changing careers. And absolutely agree. Yeah, there's a few things that you need to few courses that you need to take. You're going to be much happier once you've got the courses completed and you're able to transition into that new career. Because right now, yeah, you thought that you would enjoy this career. You just didn't think you would be in it for this long. So, yeah, you're definitely going to be moving on. And yeah, within the next year and a half or so, that's when you're ready to make that jump into that new career. So, hope that's helpful. Uh, okay. New love. Will I be in a relationship with Peter?
I'm getting a no with that
Mhm.
one. I don't think
Yeah,
people want the kind of relationship that you're looking for.
yeah.
He
That's
may say so. I just don't trust it.
no, no. New love. Time to move on. Let that one go. There you go. Sherry, will my parents' tenants move out in May? So you can.
Mm, yeah. I'm not getting until September. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking it's going to take longer. Yeah.
yeah. They're feeling like they have not been given enough notice. And considering, I think that your parents told them that they would like them to leave so that you can move in, and they're digging their heels in. So I would not be the least little bit surprised if they stopped paying rent and said, yeah, you want us out of here, boot us out. So yeah, I'm not seeing it in May. I think it's going to be a little longer than that. So okay, I'm paying attention to the time. And Teresa Hadarian, I've been experiencing much anxiety for a couple of weeks. Unusual for me. What's going on?
Um, Two things. One is I feel like your hormones are kind of shifting a little bit. I also think your thyroid is like part of the culprit. And I feel like something, in a way, I actually think this is biological and not emotional or energetic. I think that you've taken in too much of a nutrient that has triggered your
Mm-hmm.
thyroid and thrown off your thyroid's balance. So I'm thinking it's more of a biological issue, and not
Sure.
necessarily an emotional, mental one, or an energetic one.
Yeah, I would. My sense is that it's a new medication that was added to your regime is kind of throwing something off. So I would definitely take a look at any medications. And this is entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor. I don't even pretend to play one on TV. Take a look. Yeah, go back to your doctor and go through all the drugs that you're on and ask them, could there are there any interactions? And then by all means, go to your pharmacist and ask your pharmacist, could there be any any adverse side effects to this, even if they're, 1% of the population has felt this. Look into that, because yeah, that's kind of what it feels like, was that it's yeah, it's not anything that you're doing. It's something that's inside your system. So go ahead and check on that, Teresa. I hope that's helpful.
I wonder if her sodium intake is off too, because I keep thinking like of salt intake being off. So I'm curious if there's a change that's being triggered there.
Could be. Okay. Amanda Carroll, is it in my best interest and Amel's best interest for me to work for her when she is released from hospital? She had a stroke.
I think you can. Here's the thing. It might be in her best interest. It may not be in your best interest. I think that if you go and you help her, it's going to be a lot more work than you realize, but not just work because of the help she's going to need, but also just personality wise.
Yeah.
It just feels like she might be a very irritated person, or just not very, just picky in ways where it just might make it harder to want to help her. So I'm thinking that if you do it, it would be very short term. I don't think you would stick with it long term. I think you would be like, oh, why did I agree to this? I mean, it's one thing to help people when they need help. It's another thing when, like, if you're going to subject yourself to that on a regular basis, you want to make sure it's worth it for you.
Exactly. Yeah. Just let her know that this is a short-term thing, and be clear in what it is that you will be able to do and what it is that you won't be able to do. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself doing an awful lot.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're kind of in that like the little spinning wheel or whatnot, it makes it that much harder for you to walk away, because now the friendship can be brought in, and now it's a case of, well, by the time that I train someone else and I've just been through this, be very, very clear. Yes, of course, I can help you out. I can come in on Monday, Wednesday between 1 and 4. That's it. So be very clear, and yeah, you'll be okay. Wonderful. And I'm watching the time. Okay. And Richie's Reach says, would love to know if my father-in-law has a message for me or the family.
Yeah.
I'm getting keys.
You're getting what?
Keys.
Keys?
That, yeah, you guys have been looking for keys, and he's saying that they are on they're on a pegboard. They're with some other keys. So you need to look on the pegboard and make sure that you know what each key is for. Okay. All right. Stepping back. Go ahead. Sorry.
Interesting. Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. It's so interesting. I kept seeing cherry blossoms. I'm like, why am I seeing cherry blossoms? It reminds me of when when you see those scenes of Mount, what is it in Japan, that mountain, and you see, you remember, I forgot. Fuji, yeah, I keep thinking about Fuji and the cherry blossoms. I'm like, oh, this. So I wonder if there was if someone gifted him, or if he had there's a cherry blossom thing, or fruit trees, because I keep thinking of fruit trees and cherry blossoms. So that's one thing that he's making reference to. He also keeps acknowledging thank you. He is almost acknowledging people toasting to him or having a drink on him or toasting to him. So he's making reference to an event like this as well. He's also showing me I don't know if it's a bracelet or if it's a charm that might be tied to him that he's making reference to, that someone either had made, or they like put this and added this on to a bracelet, because he's making reference to that as well. He's also showing me 3 necklaces. So I wonder if there was 3 necklaces also made for him, or have some inscriptions on that are connected to him also. He also, also wondering if there were some heart-related issues that were affecting him before he passed, or if he was having a lot of pain in his chest, because he keeps showing me his heart, and he's making reference to his heart as well. He's also, thank you. There's a small, longer colored black or dark brown dog that's with him in spirit as well, that's tied to the family also.
Nice.
Yeah, there might have actually been two, and they were brother and sister, or they were siblings. But he's shown me these two animals.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Wonderful.
He passed of a heart attack, so that's why. Yeah, yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, what there is something about that key, whether it opens something that you have been trying to open, or whether that key is, or looking for that key is going to trigger a memory for you guys to do something else. And that's where, I don't know if you come across some of his old, if he was in the military, it looks like old military records, like what he did and where he was. Anyway, there's something important in that. So hopefully you'll discover that, but look for the key. Okay. And alrighty. And we'll make this one the last one, you guys, because I know that there's still 11 of you that are on here, but we're not going to be able to finish off because Fernie has a firm cutoff time, and I'd like him to come back, so I'm going to respect that.
That's why she says his last name translates to apple tree. That's why you saw fruit trees. Interesting, yeah. So I was seeing, at first I saw cherry blossoms and I saw fruit trees, and I was like, why am I seeing fruit trees? And is he like, did he have fruit trees? Interesting. With the ADHD, I kind of think he's a little on the spectrum. So this may not just be ADHD.
Yeah.
He may have a combination of things going on here. I do think it will calm, or you could say calm down. I actually think he'll do better in a couple of years because I feel like there will be a new medication that comes out where y'all may end up trying to do two separate types of medication. The first one feels like a traditional one that just doesn't seem to have enough of an effect on him. The second one feels like it's more of an injection-based medication that seems to be better for him long term. And I actually think that you'll see a huge difference in that, but that's in about 2 years.
Yeah, as he gets older, he is going to be learning some coping skills so that he can kind of self-regulate a little bit. So I think that, yeah, that there might be at that point, yes, a new medication that is going to come in, but I think just given a little more time, he's just going to mature enough to be able to use some of the tools that he's going to get. So yes, it will get better. It just means you have to be a little patient, right? Because it's when you're dealing with ADHD and especially in children growing up, it's not on your time schedule, it's on their time schedule when they're able to do things. So, it will get better. Just know that it will get better. Alrighty, Jennifer, I hope that helps. And for Scorpio 1180, I'm sorry, joyful journey, untamed spirit. Yeah, for you guys that didn't have a chance to get your questions answered, you know what? Come on over and see me again on another show. But in the meantime, thank you, Fernie. This was wonderful. I so love reading with you. It's just so natural, so much fun. So,
Very good.
Perfect. Alrighty. Okay, everyone. Take care. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do the membership thing, and make sure that you go over to Fernie's channel and you do the same thing over there. Like, share, subscribe. Okay. Take care. See you later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.